Hello everyone, my name is 4AS and welcome to my channel. This is a series of video essays where I cover political, economic and revolutionary topics which are relevant to our time. I read the books so you don't have to. In a world where money rules the land, there is one critique that is left unspoken. Integrity leads to innovation. Innovation leads to inequity. Inequity leads to insanity. Join me as we explore the four eyes of capitalism. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing for more content in the future. Now, today's video isn't strictly a video essay, but an answer to a request. I've had a few people curious about the sources I use in my video essays, and I thought it would be a good idea to recap what has been covered thus far, just as an entry point to anyone that's new to the channel. I'll make sure to leave links in where to find the books in the description. The first essay I tackled was ScoMo and the social question. This was a discussion on the ideas behind classical liberalism and the conservative rhetoric you hear that poor people should just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. These were ideas that Thomas Lemke discussed in his book Foucault's Analysis of Modern Governmentality. The second essay then went into socialism and permanent revolution. Here we dived into the history of socialism in Australia and how the term can be interpreted in many different ways. Mainly, it can be interpreted as policies that help the many in society, such as Medicare, or it can be an ideology of state governance, like what the Bolsheviks had in mind. The sources for this one was George Orwell's book, The Lion and the Unicorn, and LeonTrotsky's Permanent Revolution, two very prominent pieces of socialist literature. The third essay covers capitalism and crisis. The essay goes into the logic behind capitalism's booming crashes and the origin of revolutionary socialism. This essay went into the particulars of Rosa Luxemburg's famous book, Reform or Revolution. But that was only part one, because part two reflected on the topic of left-wing factions. This essay showed that there was a divide between revolutionary and reformist socialism, what their stances were and the definitions. But did dividing up into factions really matter? Because factions were the demise of Rosa, and in Lenin's book, Left-Wing Communism and Infantile Disorder, Lenin points out that sometimes compromise can be a good thing when it comes to getting things done. The next essay discusses the vagueness of the term middle class. Essentially, the middle class is a divisive tool to divide wage and salary earners from each other. Not many people know that Fredrick Engels had a first draft of the Communist Manifesto. This first draft goes into the history of the proletariat, called the Principles of Communism. The Principles of Communism goes into how a division of labour created exploitation for those who had capital against those who required a wage to survive. And last, but certainly not least, the discussion on econobabble. Have you ever listened to treasurers on economists and it sounds like they are using fancy words and you simply don't understand them? Well, that's econobabble. In a two-part series, I dived into Richard Dennis's book of the same title, where he covers debt and deficit, budgets, the fallacy of composition, and how to battle this effective political shutout tool. Again, I have provided all the sources in the links in the description. Hope you have fun and remember to keep thinking and keep learning. If you haven't already, like, share and subscribe for more content in the future. Goodbye till next time.